Duty versus Battlefield drama. This apparently is an former president of Blizzard Entertainment. Blizzard, Activision, obviously, Call of Duty, said Battlefield will boot stomp Call of Duty this year. Damn. And look at what he says. But the real win here is COD won't be lazy anymore. He's calling Call of Duty lazy. This isn't just some fan on the internet, right? This isn't just some player of the game. Who listens to the players of the game these days? F them all, right? That's the motto. But yeah, this is that's a pretty big statement. I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend, or I guess just before. This was on the 7th. Maybe this is during the reveal. And we'll all get better FPS games for it. Let's see. There was a couple replies that he did here as well. Let's read these. Back in 2016, Infinite Warfare was clowned and hard, and Battlefield 1 had major hype, and COD still outsold it and didn't matter because COD just keeps coming out yearly. COD has gone downhill for years since then. It's a mess. Cheating, heavy UI install, rainbow colors. People are sick of it. And this is the thing. There's still a lot of people that do play COD. It still has a massive audience. But there's also a ton of people that are just over COD and they're done with it. They hate it for any of these reasons or more. They're just tired of the game, whatever. And I think this is why there's so many people that are like looking for a different game, that are looking to Battlefield. I think this is one of the reasons that Battlefield is going as big as it is right now versus what it was even in the past. Because this is what I always say is like Battlefield always has been way more niche than what Call of Duty's been. Like it's never been as big of a game as what COD is. This has been the craziest numbers that I've seen, at least for Battlefield so far. And I still don't think it's going to capture all of the COD guys either. I don't think there's a lot of people that I think I've even seen the sentiment that it's just another Battlefield game. This looks like all the other Battlefield games. And especially if you don't play it, you don't know the nuances of closed versus open weapons. It's the same thing even though for COD, where you see like the difference between Warzone 1 and Warzone 2, where they make it so you can't sprint while plating. They put a backpack system in the game. They make it so you have to have 3-plate. You find a 3-plate armor on the ground. It was a complete divergence of the game and the core game loop for Warzone, or even when Vanguard came out and they put planes into the game. It still looks exactly like the same game to an outsider who doesn't play the game, but gameplay-wise, it's very different. Battlefield has always been a little bit more, I think quite a bit more niche. And I still think there's going to be a lot of people that don't even make the shift over to it. COD shit right now, yeah, a lot of people don't like COD. But that's also why I think we see a huge divergence of people that are like Battlefield people that say, F it, I don't want to see a battle royale in this game. I'm not interested in any of that. Just give me my Battlefield game. I want my niche. I want my game for this. But then we also have a massive amount of people that are interested and do want to see a BR or do want to even see extraction shooter. I've seen people say they wanted, which of course they already did with Hazard Zone. They've even already done a BR with Firestorm. But I think there's so many people from other communities that are looking at it, and that's why it's been so mainstream off this next one, and why also there's so many micro communities, even already within Battlefield, the people that want hardcore, that don't see hardcore, that want server browser, that don't see server browser, although that is going to be here at the game launch. So anyways, he said, COD has gone downhill for years off that. Mike, you're bitter, and it's causing you to say nonsensical things. People have been saying this for the last 10 years, and here we are.
Some design choices to entice COD players, especially with movement. However, my concern is there won't be enough to entice SBF vets from the early 2000s.
Byron Beatty,
won't know until release,
as well as Vince Impella, both COD guys. I mean, Byron worked at, he was like one of the head guys around Warzone's launch and like that era of COD, I believe, right? I think they brought him over for that. They took a lot of the talent from Call of Duty to make this game in the first place. And they're clearly showing a lot of emphasis on the smaller maps and trying to pull some of the audience from that for sure. But anyways, he's saying a lot of nonsensical things. Let's see what his response was. COD will get better because Battlefield will be great. I think this too. I think there was a bigger push back in the day when there was this big rivalry. Like I'm seeing this like I have never seen in at least a decade of people on the disagreements. Like if I even mention, if I'm talking about Warzone or even going playing Warzone, I think a lot of people don't want to see that anymore. They're done with it. They're like, nah, I don't even want to see it. Whatever. Like they're pissed again. I think this rivalry is starting to come back that I literally haven't seen for 10 years. Back when I switched over from COD to Battlefield back in the day, it was a huge thing, even with a very small audience that I had. And there was also less people that were even watching for any of that, all of that time ago. And then the same thing happened, you know, when you transition out of any game or play any new games in general, especially making content on it, there's fans of, there's people who only play one game for it. But this is a bigger heated debate. Now, I still play a lot of different games myself. I'll probably still play COD. I'll still probably play the campaign when the new COD comes out. We'll see what they have to offer on it. I have enough time that I get to enjoy a lot of games, though. And I think the limitation really is a lot of people don't have that much time where they just stick to one game. And then that's their world. And any game that they don't play is just a dead game. Like, how many people think Fortnite is dead right now, but it still has millions of players? You know what I mean? Freeman, thank you so much. Current top tip on the day as well. Also, GG Scrubbins, keeping the sub train alive. Absolute freaking legend. After Free froze the train. Much love. Most recent sub on the day. Bro went to a gambling company and said, burn all the bridges. Yeah, is that what he did? What does he do now? CEO of Prize Picks. Okay, so yeah, he works for a gambling company. So maybe that's the approach that this guy's coming at it from. No, glad I'm not part of the end of Xbox. Upset that they can't lead teams to make good games. Yes, because they lay off all the people for leadership mishaps. Yeah, I do think, though, to his sense, I think he is right. I think the more competition, and if Call of Duty does see a decrease in player count, which I will say, they have at least on Steam. We don't know exactly how let me see if I can find. I don't know if I got a picture comparison, but there was a lot of these of like the peak player count for COD. You know what? Let's just pull it up myself. And for Call of Duty, was it Black Ops 6? Or is it just Call of Duty? Bolt Pack. Let's just see Call of Duty. Granted, again, just Steam charts, but this is just kind of a representation for it, right? This is the side-by-side. The Battlefield 6 open beta, I've seen so many comparisons of this online. The all-time peak player count was higher than Call of Duty's all-time peak player count. I would argue more people use Battle.net, though, than use EA's launcher. Right? Like, I play Call of Duty on Blizzard launcher. A lot of people have played other Battle.net games probably do. But I don't know. Maybe a lot of people use the EA launcher, too. I just think the EA launcher is really bad. I think this has been pretty bad over the last few years when I've tried it versus Activision's one. Especially like joining games with people. Bro, we just try and play Uno on this launcher, and it is a nightmare playing Uno. We can't get these things to connect. We spend 30 minutes just trying to get Uno to connect. It's the saddest thing ever. There's 4 of us. It just drives me insane how bad Uno is. So maybe I'm jaded from that as well. I don't know. But that is a thing. That is definitely, it is a sign, I think, at least, and people are using it. Now, we'll see, though, because this also, here's another big caveat that I haven't seen mentioned, is that this is just beta, this is free, this is people buying the game. So we'll see if these numbers actually pan out when people have to actually buy the game. And we're still 2 months out from the launch of this game, and we've seen how the launches go for Battlefield, at least in recent history, and even the older Battlefields, like Battlefield 4's launch. I think on PC, it had a lot of problems. I was late to join PC. I played on the Xbox 360, and then I did the transfer up into the Xbox One when that came out. And for the most part, it was okay for me when I played it. I still managed to play it enough, but of course, I was in college at the time and such, so it was a little different. Zuzi, thank you for the 1K bits as well. Okay, let me go back to the tweet here. Was there any others that he replied to? I think that was it. But yeah, I mean, still relatively big call out. And I do think he's right. At least I hope that he's right. I hope Call of Duty steps it up. And here's what I think. I don't think Call of Duty is going to go anywhere. It's still got too big of an audience. It's still got too big of a player base. And they even said in some posts that they're too big to fail. Now, I hope they get some number hits here that actually hit the bottom line off of it so that it does force them to kind of actually make some adjustments. But realistically, we're probably still 3 or 4 years out from COD making some significant changes to the same effect of what Battlefield has done, if this pans out. Because this was after 2142 came out. This is now 4 years later from that, because that came out in 2021. So that is a long time to adjust, and that's them purely focused on it. They weren't even doing anything else either. They didn't have a game they're coming out with every year. This is just them full hard shifting into one big game launch. Maybe that means COD's going to take longer for it, but or maybe they don't. Maybe they just keep taking the short-term successes, which it feels like that's what they've done more of. But we'll see what they've got cooking up for Black Ops 7. We should be getting that reveal at some point here. But yeah, Battlefield clearly dead. No players. Everybody fell off. Nobody's playing anymore, so game dead. RIP.